What, peoples?
What?
Oh god.
Hello.
I mean,
Hello.
hello.
Right, go on. Roy.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Emma. Hello, Owen.
Hello, Emma. Hope you have a lovely day.
Hello.
Excited.
Hey. You doing it, right? Yeah, good mate.
You're smart, mate.
Thank you. Warm? Very warm.
It's a bit cold today, isn't it?
Oh, so he's not coming today?
No. Sort him out, Steve. He looks far too relaxed. Owen.
That was such a lame thing to do.
So Owen, how are you feeling?
A bit nervous, a bit sick,
Yeah.
but all right.
No, you look well.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. It's warm in here, though, isn't it?
It is very warm.
You've got the beads of sweat going down the old forehead.
Hello.
Who are we waiting for, girls?
Emma.
Does she look beautiful today? You can do it at 12.
Do it well.
You did 12, are you? Yeah.
Don't blame them. Well, we're going to do that on the way back. That's that 30, 40 miles away, so we might get back to you. Where are they going? Near Mark's house. That's it, isn't it? Hello. You're looking remarkably relaxed. Well done. It's nice. Very cool. I'll leave you to this gentleman to take photographs of you getting out and with the girls, and when you're ready I'll have a quick word, yeah? Excellent.
I might give you that a little kiss.
Are we together?
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to St Clement's Church. When I say a very warm welcome, I mean a very warm welcome. It's nice and cool in here though. There will be a prize for the person who doesn't drop it and gets everything right. And it's lovely though, and it's a wonderful keepsake. Hopefully it'll be confetti. If you're going to do it, could you do it outside of the church, not inside the church? And when I say outside the church, it's actually by the gate over there. Otherwise, if I see people doing that, I will find a broom and I will hand it you and I will stand over you until it has been all swept up neatly, because it's my neck on the line with the cleaning ladies. Send your Holy Spirit and pour into our hearts that most excellent gift of love, that we may worship you now with thankful hearts and serve you always with willing minds, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. So we're going to remain standing to sing our first hymn. If you turn to the fourth piece of paper, All Things Bright and Beautiful. Celebrate their love. Marriage is a gift of God in creation, through which husband and wife may know the grace of God. It is given that a man and woman grow together in love and trust. They shall be united with one another in heart, body and mind, as Christ is united with his bride. All others, be faithful to her, as long as you both shall live.
I will.
Emma, Elizabeth, will you take Owen Michael to be your husband? Will you love him, comfort him, honour and protect him, and forsaking all others be faithful to him, as long as you both shall live?
I will.
And now I ask you, family and friends of Owen and Emma, will you support and uphold them in their marriage, now and in the years to come? We will. So we bow our heads in prayer.
Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends, but as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As the knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put to an end the childish ways. For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then we'll see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known, and now faith, hope, and love abide. These three, and the greatest of these is love.
But we take a long time over a marriage. We think about the clothes we want to wear. We think about the orders of service and the food and the reception and the cars and the church and all sorts of other things. We spend a long time. And some people think that that is something that you truly value, you think is really important for your lives. It's quite something. Join hands and make your vows in the presence of God and his people. I, Owen Michael.
I, Owen Michael.
Take you, Emma
sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
till death us do part,
to death us do part,
according to God's holy law,
according to God's holy law,
in the presence of God,
in the presence of God,
I make this vow.
I make this vow.
I, Emma Elizabeth,
I, Emma Elizabeth,
take you, Owen Michael,
take you, Owen Michael,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death us do part, according to God's holy law, in the presence of God, I make this vow. And the rings, please. The ring is the sign and symbol of commitment, especially a marriage commitment. It symbolises the love that Emma, I give you this ring
Emma, I give you this ring
as a sign of our marriage.
as a sign of our marriage.
With my body,
With my body,
I honor
I honour you.
all that I am,
All that I am,
I give to you,
I give to you,
and all that I have,
and all that I have,
I share with you,
I share with you,
within the love of God,
within the love of God,
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
I won't come on. Place it on your left side, and you're holding his hand and say to him, Michael, I give you this ring.
Michael.
At least you know who you're married.
Michael.
Owen, I give you this ring. As a sign of our marriage. With my body, I honor you. All that I am, I give to you. And all that I have, I share with you. Within the love of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Kiss your wife. So we come now to the next one.
Best man, sweating.
Your marriage should have within its a secret protected place open to you alone. Imagine it to be a walled garden, entered by a door to which only you have the key. Within this garden you will cease to be a mother, father, employee, homemaker or any other roles which you fulfil in daily life. Here you are yourselves, two people who love each other. Here you can concentrate on one another's needs. So take each other's hand and may you go back to your garden. The time you spend there together is not wasted but invested. Invested in your future and the nurture of your love.
Thank you.
Not shoes, just confetti. I have a picture of that. Oh, no.
Is everyone ready? Okay, as soon as I hit here,
Let's go for it. As soon as I hit.
finally got here after a long journey. I want to start it with this picture because it's the very first picture taken of Emma. A long time ago. And of me without grey hair.
No, don't worry, don't worry.
The other thing I always remember about this picture is what was going through my mind while posing for it. And that was that one day I'll be standing here making a speech. What I didn't realise was how long I'd have to bloody wait. You can probably work out that me and technology aren't best of friends. So this is the young Emma when she did arrive. But I don't want to start with her. I want to start with Lynn and Mick and Chris and I. Welcome to this celebration for the wedding of our daughter and their son. It's been a long time coming, as I've said already. I'd also like to thank Owen in particular. I'll start with him. The first thing is his courtesy in asking me for my daughter's hand in marriage, which was very old-fashioned, but I think I like to think it's a bit old-fashioned himself. When he asked me, I think it was the first week of last November, we were at Battlesbridge Antique Centre. And I always remember as well, he told me a long story about what he thought of my daughter. So I deliberately made him wait about an hour. The main reason for that was I wanted to check out whether he was of sound mind. There was a spin-off to that as well, that he hadn't asked Emma at that time. He'd only told me. So he said he hadn't made up his mind when he was going to speak to Emma, so I thought I'd get quiet. And about 4 weeks later, Chris and I were driving back from the Cotswolds. What's Cotswolds? She's gone on the phone. Oh, it's Emma. Oh, hold on, I'll tell you that. Owen's just proposed to Emma. I said, oh, is that right? Yeah, I'm just telling him. What do you mean he already knew? And then it was 3 days before she spoke to me. I thought it only right that Emma be the first to know. If I wanted to use Facebook or anything like that, I could have told her mother. Another old tradition I like is when a woman is looking for a husband, she looks at possible candidates in light of the qualities of her own father. And I think in that she succeeded. I mean, like me, Owen is tall and handsome. I've got my place now. Like me, he understands and appreciates modern technology. I mean, already we've had lots of conversations about firewalls and JPEGs and closed pics and Google pics, all that other shite. Like me, he's got a lot of patience. And he'll bloody need it. Another old-fashioned tradition is making a comeback after all. Anyways, marriage itself. It seemed to have lost its place in the 1990s, but fortunately, from my point of view, it's a good thing. If you asked anybody here today why anybody gets married, I mean, the word love would probably figure high on the list. But there are other reasons for getting married. For instance, I've got this here. When I married, there was a little thing called married man's tax allowance, which I personally needed. I also needed someone to buy my clothes. Evidently, I've got no taste in clothes. I needed somebody to lay them out on the bed every morning, just like Mum used to do. I needed somebody to take ownership of the remote control every night to decide what I'm going to watch. I also needed somebody to sit in the passenger seat and remind me of all the speed signs from landing. And also to remind me what signals is traffic. But enough of my problems. Why's that picture done? It stands to reason that most people have known Emma for most of their life, at least half of you here anyway. But there's some things about our daughter that you might not know. But where to start? I could start with the night she was conceived. I think I left it to you. I could could start with the night she was conceived, but there's too much information. I could start with the night her mother's waters broke, but that's already been covered in a previous speech somewhere. Oh, there she is. Look, I think I will start with an early visit to the clinic where we were told that Emma would be born, our child, we didn't have sex testing in those days, would be born on the 24th of June, which was very nice because that's my birthday. And Emma was late, 3 weeks late, wasn't born until the middle of July. Emma from day one was a very advanced child. I'm not going to like this, but she actually spoke her first words at just 6 weeks of age. The first word, of course, was daddy. Not the one she uses now to describe me, but anyway, there's no sense in daddy. 2 days later I came home from work and she spoke her first sentence. It was, "Daddy, lend me a fiver." Of course I said no. The very next day I came home again and Emma said, "Daddy, lend me a fiver, I'll pay you back on Thursday." This time I relented and let her have the fiver. But then I came home the next day and there she was sitting in the kitchen, a pair of scissors and a calendar, and she was cutting all the Thursdays out. And I never did see any of those Thursdays. And now I've lost my place in the DVD for the next week, so
Push the DVD.
I'll say about 10 minutes. I'll let it dry. Hopefully that will work. So that was the first picture of Emma that I started. And this is her first career opportunity. She saw an opportunity to... She wanted to get into entertainment, variety, any advertising, anything like that. And this was the first attempt. She decided to be a ventriloquist dummy and practice with her grandfather. You can see the level of trust there was non-existent. Her second attempt was to run away and join the circus, which happens to be a favourite of mine, that one. That didn't work too well, so she started modelling clothes for the airlines, Qatar Airways, I think. And I think you've seen photo 6. This is it's obviously with the Sun newspaper. They sent it back with most of you would know Emma works with companies and their products. Now this is absolutely true. Her first attempt at breaking into that world, and the purpose of it is to get a contract with these firms, to win the contract to advertise the company or its product. So Emma got in touch with this firm, and if you don't believe me, you can Google it. The firm is called Anus Hole, and they're manufacturers of hemorrhoid cream. Its career opportunities, so-called, they were all failures. So she moved on, and she tried, or decided to turn her hands to crime. This is called ripping off pensioners. And they're hardened. No, it's our controller here.
What you got left? Stephen. Oh yeah, that's oh yeah, it's big. Oh. Actually, one man dropped the car 3 times.
No, she was only 12 years old in that as well. And when the police came, we made her give her the money back. When her mother and I realised, you love this bit things. When her mother and I realised that Emma was very, very serious to get into this show business thing, we decided to support her. And the 3 of us went for a screen test. I paid a lot of money for this. Not very long time, it's not halfway up.
Large scotch, please, baby. Oh, Mr. Owen. The details, are they? Just out of curiosity. I see some other people being shown around.
Yes, sir.
We've been looking at the house for sale.
I mean, the fair price. That neighbours, what do they like? Shot to the earth. You won't find that. Your type is never happy unless you've got your nose in other people's business.
No.
Well, in that case, lovely, forget it. Now then, did you want a drink, or did you just come in for a warm? Because Alec will not be best pleased if you did.
What's the drink like?
Oh, it's a new Riddle's best bitter. You can have it if you like. I'm already.
Coronation Street on the wooden tops. You are.
To these two fluffing their lines, I was up in the car, but I had to recline up at some station. I don't want to. Getting in again now. Everybody here today, I'm sure, think of Emma as an only child. He did have another daughter, also called Emma. He had 2 daughters called Emma, which is quite unusual. So, I've got a little clip again. Well, the first daughter we had, and then I can tell you what happened to her.
Yeah. Oh, you're now.
to the words of the song as well.
I am not the same, and I'll never be the same
Just after we got back from that holiday, that's when it happened. Something went wrong. I've always assumed it was alien abduction. But exchange is no, what they say, fair exchange is no robbery, and they left us as a duplicate. Emma's cringing because you've seen this clip before.
Come on, Emma, play snowballs. Emma! Are you in a good mood? Come and play with the sledge. Emma! Why not? You in a bad mood?
It was a fair exchange. I'm pleased to say that sometime after that, the aliens probably must have returned her because she's improved no end. I think that's not in small part to the influence of Owen. It seems that she's changed back again to something like she used to be, that girl, since Owen's been on the scene. To keep that, please. Just like you were, I believe that Owen and Emma first met through work. I think that's right.
Who is it?
I'm not starting again. Owen and Emma first met at work, but I think that's fairly typical of a lot of couples. It certainly was the case with me and myself and Emma's mother. We were both apprentices at the same time. I was with Tate and Lyle Sugars, and Chris was with a Gestapo. I actually finished I finished my apprenticeship, but Chris was expelled from the Gestapo for being too cruel. Going through all these old photos and clips of film in preparation for today obviously brings back lots of memories. I remember the day that Emma was born. And I remember the minute she was born. It was 5:40 AM on the first morning. I remember it was a 30-hour labour. I remember the midwife congratulating me on my staying power. Your mum was there as well. I remember the nurse bringing me a cup of tea. I remember your mum not being allowed a cup of tea because she had to have stitches. I remember taking you home for the first time. I remember you sleeping in a cot on my side of the bed for 3 months. I remember, like most of you, I was buying your mum a present. In this case, it was an inflatable cushion. I'd like to finish with some advice for both of you. As someone who's enjoyed 40 years of marriage, I feel well qualified to share my wisdom. Marriage is just like a yo-yo, full of ups and downs. Enjoy the highs, not so much the downs. Work on them. I know that neither Owen or Emma are daft. They must know how much today means to both sets of parents. To me, it's always been the most important aspect of a marriage, to bring up children into the world, to protect them and support them and to nurture them. And then time comes to let them go and hopefully start the cycle again. And I need to start the video, and I'm not sure how to. That's a picture. What I call Daddy's Girl. It's my favourite picture. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, time moves on and she becomes somebody else's little girl. And finally, for the final time, earlier you saw a clip of Emma running up the beach saying, "Daddy, I've got you a present." A manky piece of seaweed wasn't the present, the best present I've ever had in the world. The best present I've ever had in the world. And the same with Mum, it's the day you were born. Thank you.
So, firstly, I'd like to thank you all for coming. My mates know how utterly useless I am in organising any sort of social event ever, and I'm even worse with family. So it really is an honour to see all of you here, because if I'd just organised it, none of you would. I'd like to say a huge thank you to Pete and Chris for putting on this incredible day and for helping us create such a special event. Pete's definitely put his stamp on it with some inspired choices that you're all going to see later. And you both raised a wonderful daughter, and I'm so thankful that you allowed me to marry her. So as Pete touched upon, asking Pete if he'd allow me to marry Emma was a bit of an experience because we were at Bridge, and I sort of sprung it on him a little bit, I feel like, and as he said, he made me wait, and Pete may have said it was an hour, but it felt like a day, to the point where I very distinctly remember standing in front of some antique earrings just waiting for the whole thing to topple over on me, because it would have been a better experience than having to go through that again. But as Pete mentioned, I got my own back because when Chris found out that she was the only one who didn't know, she went absolutely spare. So I got my own back that way, that was nice. So obviously, I can't forget my own mum and dad. Something you should know about Dad is that any sort of event or holiday, Dad loses his mind. Just basic sort of things, he can't carry them out. There's everyday things, he can't do them. And we call him Dippy Dad. And so in preparation for today, I was fearing the worst. So I was like, oh God, here we go, Dad's going to be nuts. But Dad has actually been like the bastion of sort of like peace and tranquility, which is unbelievable. I don't know what happened there. Mum, not so much. But you know, it's just a sign that she cares, and you obviously really cared about today, and you really gave a lot of help and advice for that along with Dad. So the two of you have always been there for us, and you've always been there for me, not only for today but throughout my whole life. So thank you very much for the little gifts as well. I'm rattling through this a little bit, but I'll carry on anyway because it's not nice being up here. So obviously we'd like to thank Smokey, who has carried out his best man duties with Slot. He's been a true gentleman. He's really taken it seriously. He's even trimmed down. He's lost a little bit of weight for the event. 2 months ago, he said, oh, you know, I want to look good for it. So I said, okay. I gave him a copy of Men's Health, and we're in now, and he's finally managed to fit down into a size 38 waisted jeans. But in all seriousness, he's been amazing. He organised a wicked stag do. And he's always been there for me during my teen years and difficult 20s and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks mate. And got you too. To Tony and Liam, we'll say thank you to you now, because before we lose Tony to a night of endless selfies, before Liam decides to get absolutely arseholed and start doing Liam Gallagher impressions to everyone. So we'll do that now. We've got gifts for you too. And special thanks to my little brother Luke, who's also not only pulled out his ushering duties just as well as anyone, well, the best, I've said it, sorry lads. But he also designed all of your invites, your save the dates and your order of services. He's a very talented chap and I'm very proud of him. So, like Sunnyfield's Oxford speech, but we've got more thank yous. So we'd also like to thank my auntie Karen and also Karen as well, so over there for doing their readings today. They were brilliant, and we've got them both a gift. Sorry, Ems.
Auntie Karen, can you pass that to Auntie Karen? And can you pass that back to Karen Barker?
And we'd also like to thank Emma, the Northern Foghorns that you've been hearing So yeah, so it's fitting that today should take place in a teepee because, as Pete mentioned, the first time I met Emma was through work. And we was at V2009 in the VIP area in Absolute Radio's TV. And Jet had just released their second album. They always say it's a difficult second album. I think that Jet probably thought their second album was good. And then this day happened. So we're all stood there, they're having an acoustic set, it's brilliant, I was absolutely loving it. And out of nowhere, I've heard somebody scream from behind me, "Play us one we know!" And I turned around, and it was Emma. And I thought, there's the girl that I want to spend the rest of my life with. So you could probably put that down to the drink, because it was 11:30 and everyone was absolutely banjoed, but that's not the point. It's just the fact that Emma is probably one of the most passionate people I've ever met. And not only that, but she's the most caring and compassionate person. She cries at the TV adverts for Longest Family. This probably goes to show you just how emotional she can get sometimes, and sometimes that's just blunt anger directed straight at me. But she is just a passionate person. But above all, Emma brings out the best side of me. And so whether we're singing along to Bon Jovi in the car just with our voices, or you know we're working together. And I did need a lot of help there, obviously, because Wiggers was my boss, so that's it, fine. Or, you know, going to the gym, or just putting our feet up on the sofa and watching films about superheroes. You bring out the best side of me. And I love you. Yeah, guys. Sort of rushed through that, I think. If anyone's got a sweepstake going, I've probably brought it back a little bit. It might be, I don't know, so finally, we have 4 more people to thank. So that's our beautiful bridesmaids. So to Kelly and Stevie and Karen and Kate. Oh God, is it Karen and Caitlin? Caitlin and Karen. Just thank you. You've been awesome. You've all helped out in your own special ways. You've all given the both of us, but especially Emma, support over the last sort of few months, and she's definitely needed it. So thank you. So while they're sort of getting their gifts and opening their presents, if we could all raise a toast to the bridesmaids, please. And that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
Right, well, for those that actually don't know my real name, it's actually Sam, and that's how I was going to kick off my speech. And seeing as I need to lose weight, apparently, and I pulled out my X-rated speech. How long have we got on the sweepstakes, by the way?
A mixture. 3 minutes. 1:15.
I'll see what I've got and then I'll vamp. So, good evening everyone, and as I've said, my name's Sam, and obviously I have the honour of being Owen's best man. And I've known him for some time now, as he alluded to, going back to college when we were 16. We actually almost made it through university together as well. I'd say almost made it through. He's already mentioned he's bad at decisions. He actually enrolled on a performing arts course, as opposed to the media studies that he actually originally tried to do. So after a week, after acting as some sort of flower for the week, he decided to leave and leave me in the lurch. And I wouldn't have minded so much, but he was kind of the reason and convinced me to go to Kent Uni in the first place. But I bear no grudges, and we made it through. Here we are today. But it was still a great privilege and surprise, to be honest, to be made the best man. And Owen, thank you very much for that. I do hold that very dearly. And Emma, thank you for letting me get this far on stage, up on the platform, because I'm sure you're not nervous. And speaking of Emma, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to put on record what a fantastic bride we have here today. You truly are stunning, and you're a credit to your family. Well done. And speaking of today, it's obviously been fantastic so far. I hope everybody's enjoyed it as much as I have. We've had the pleasure of a wonderful service earlier. And I know Owen and Emma had to put a lot of work into that as well to secure the church. I'm glad it all paid off for you guys. In fact, I know many people have actually put a lot of effort in and making this all come together. Both Owen and Emma's parents in particular should have another special mention from me. And all the help provided by the ushers and the bridesmaids, of course. And chaps, I know you do scrub up well, but I think you'll have to give this to the bridesmaids. As for our location currently, I have to say I'm impressed. I was a little bit concerned, but I am For those who know me, I'm a man of home comfort. So, the glamping was a bit of a concern, but I got over it. But speaking of the glamping, it's probably a good time as any to mention that I haven't yet told the missus that I forgot to book a tent. So luckily the sleeping bag's in my car. We're going to be going under the stars. So, I guess I should get on with a good task, and that's to ridicule my good friend here, make him feel as uncomfortable as possible, and tell you some stories that are going to embarrass him somewhat. And to be honest with you, I think we covered it quite well on his recent stag do. And for those of you that don't know the story, we recently went away to Madrid and had a fantastic weekend. And Owen here seemed very calm on the plane, thinking, you know, he was going to get away with it, I think. But little did he know that upon takeoff and when the old seatbelt sign goes off, I had to have him go into the toilet to change into a lovely little number that would be known as his alter ego for the weekend, Lydia. And you should have been there, and I really wish you were, to see this hulking guy come out of the toilet. I'm going to get you back now, because you're not so slim either. Come out of the toilet in this Mr. Miss World dress, and he had this thigh-high split right the way up to his hip, with his long blonde wig and a lovely sparkling tiara to top off the ensemble. And to make it even funnier, we actually got stuck behind the drinks trolley. So for about 10 or 15 minutes, he was stood right at the end of the plane in full view of a load of people just standing embarrassed, quite frankly, and that made it all the more funny for us. And I'd love to say this humiliation didn't continue, but what kind of best man would I be if that was the case? And the Madrid locals certainly got their fill of Lydia on the first day, right the way through to her spectacular demise at the hands of 10 tequila shots. And I had to drag him home and tend to him, and he was in the bathroom and all sorts. So I got him back, don't you worry. But we made it home, and that was the important thing, and our friendship stayed intact, and I, more importantly, remained best man, so I must have done an okay job. But had you have told me some years ago, I would probably have doubted you, because we had a bit of an incident, Owen and I, involving a bit of a stray train chair. And basically, we used to go into Southend quite a bit on a Monday night Mayhem, if everyone knows the nightclub. And rather than pay for train fares, or rather than pay for taxi fares, we used to get the first train out in the morning. And on one of these particular nights, I thought it'd be quite funny to pick up one of the train chairs and sort of throw it in Owen's direction. And minor vandalism aside, I didn't really consider too much of a problem. And that was until the chair flipped in mid-air. And underneath these chairs is actually a blunt steel rod. And this happened to connect square with poor old Owen's forehead. And there was this horrible moment where he dropped to the deck quicker than the chair did. And I didn't know what to do. I honestly thought that I killed him. And that was it. You know, all these horrible thoughts were flashing around. But thankfully he got up and started hurling all kinds of abuse at me, which I couldn't possibly repeat today. And, you know, I was told on the walk home he was swaying, seriously, back and forth, and talking absolute gibberish. And normally I'd probably account this for the alcohol, but on this occasion it was probably a heavy concussion. But thankfully, being the good sport he is, he got over it, and the next day we patched things up. Either that or he didn't actually remember it, I'm not so sure. If you don't remember it still, forget it, it didn't happen, we're all right. And I'd love to say that these kind of events were one-off, but we used to get up to some real stupid things back in our day. And probably none more so than the event that Owen and I created, and it was kind of a sport really, it became, called bushing. And for the uninitiated, this effectively was, at the end of a night out, finding a bush, a tree, a flower bed, and just throwing yourself straight into it. And we really made this a big thing, and back in Southend we made up arenas and stadiums. The old roundabout by Southend-Vic used to be called the Paul Robinson Memorial. The Sainsbury's nice little array of shrubs down the side was called the Sainsbury's Arena. And this was ridiculous, but you know, most guys our age would go out trying to find women. We would do this. And it's really not a surprise that we've become to be known as the female repellents. Not now, of course. But anyway, whilst writing this speech, I actually remembered one such pushing incident that involved good old Owen here. And it gave everyone a good laugh at the time, and it ended up with him retiring from our good sport. And about to do his run-up, he turned to me, and I remember it, and he said, "Mate, I really think we've been getting this wrong." He said, "I've been hurling myself into these bushes for weeks now, and it really hurts." I said, "Well, of course it does. You're going into thorns and all sorts." And he said, No, forgetting that, I think I've got it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do a high jump technique. So I'm going to hit the top of the bush and use it as a cushion." Sound reasoning, I thought, and this was the warped world we lived in at the time. So I thought, okay, crack on, mate, give it a go. And his run up, yeah, it was great. His jump, pretty majestic actually. The landing, dreadful. And it's hard to convey, but basically hit the top of this bush and just smashed straight through it. All leaves, twigs, flowers, everything he just left in his wake. And to make matters worse, he had this massive gash right the way down the side of his back. It just opened up. And, you know, it took a long time to heal, I have to say. And for the good of his health, he stepped down from our sport after that, which was probably for the best, I have to say. So, some of you might be, those that know Owen, might be thinking it's a bit strange, because he's actually a very level-headed kind of guy. Sensible, if you like. But don't get me wrong, he really does have these mad moments. And I've got a little thing here that you've actually seen on your sheets, on your quiz. And you may notice it mentions about an escapade in Portsmouth. That's address, because Owen thought once that it was a good idea, after the end of a night out, to mooney a group of lads in Portsmouth. And this really wouldn't have been such a bad idea had we not all have been in fancy dress at the time. And Owen here was dressed as Tigger the Tiger. And, you know, you really should have seen the sight, because you had Peter Pan, the Mad Hatter, who I believe made it today, and half the cast of Disney trying to calm down this ridiculous situation that Tigger here had decided to get himself into. So, Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty much nearly through this now, but I've got one final story to tell you. And that's arguably Owen's most uncomfortable, most embarrassing moment that I certainly know about. And it started on a lad's holiday to Cos. And after a night out, basically Owen and a couple of friends decided to go skinny dipping.
What can we name them? Right. Baker.
Baker, just stand up a minute for us.
Makes it even worse.
So even more worryingly, Owen and Baker went for skinny dipping. And I'm not going to get into the ramifications of what this might mean, but you know, I went there, but there we are. There they were, skinny dipping about 4 in the morning, when all of a sudden they both come herring out of the sea, screaming and shouting. And nobody knew what the hell's going on. They thought something serious had happened. So they get out and they were going, mate, what's going on? And basically what had happened was they'd interrupted a group of marauding jellyfish. Who, safe to say, were really none too pleased with this interruption. And they proceeded to sting them in a number of places. Particularly private, and there's kids present. I'm not going to tell you where they were stung, but you can use your imagination. And I'd love to tell you that the story ends there, but it doesn't, because a couple of other friends turned up on the scene, on hearing this commotion. Who was it? Tony. Stand up, Tony. And one other? And Pete. Pete's no longer with us.
He's definitely not dead.
He's not dead, he didn't die of shame, he's fine. And they had the perfect answer, and this was really fortunate because the guys were in need of a bit of help. And it wasn't to go to hospital, no. It wasn't to go and get some cream or something from the local pharmacy, no. What the answer actually was, apparently was, and again, children present, I'm fully aware, was to relieve themselves on the areas in question. So, after a night out, on a Greek island, there they are, in bits, and they're all doing the business, all on each other, and everything else, trying to relieve this god-awful pain. You'll be pleased to know that this does not work in the slightest. Forget friends, forget what you've seen, this is a complete urban myth. So Owen, completely desolate, in a great deal of pain, a lot of shame that one day you're going to have to make peace with. He walked back to the apartment. And it still doesn't end there. Because what happened was Owen decided to run himself a nice ice-cold bath to go and jump into. Funny enough, with nothing on but his t-shirt, apparently. But the aforementioned Pete, who's no longer with us, he's still alive, decided to burst in the bathroom, get a bit of sun cream and just spray it all over Owen, just to add complete insult to injury. And I'm told this was kind of the final straw. So, sun cream jellyfish rages aside, and concussion rages aside, Owen is actually a great guy. And I'm sure no amount of flattery will save me at this point, but nonetheless, Owen,